You heard of Jubilee? So
Okay, I need
like this,
to set up
they
the
do
remote.
like people, they'll get a random
Might let them dry first.
of a certain, like the thing might be.
You'll have alcohol fumes.
Okay, remote appears to be up and running. Thank you, Senator Kiwi.
This will be live streamed.
Later,
Later, he will edit it down and take out the blank spots because you'll have 10, 15 minutes of people
Okay,
talking. But later it'll be a
thank you.
short.
You know what's the
Usually you put up the claim, you put up what you're talking about, and then he'll ask you basic questions about what you said.
Oh, okay.
I didn't cooperate with no bugs today.
I like
Try.
Okay,
He can help you figure that out too.
this is the remote control.
How long do you guys stay out here?
4 hours or more.
Maria, do you want to give it a go?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
This is your
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
deck.
so this is my first time sitting down at this setup, and it's whatever you're more comfortable with.
Okay.
Alcohol wipes.
Thank you.
Um,
Oh, wow.
so this
You're
is
assuming I can read the screen. Okay.
try remote with the claim. So in this case, like for example, we have a wide with the face-to-face, boom, or maybe just a face-to-face, and you'll notice that this will switch
Okay.
to just you and her on the other side with a different screen. It's got a bit of a delay, interestingly enough. There it goes.
Is that page still around?
This is so high tech. Usually when I do this, I'm standing with a whiteboard and a camera, and I just say, "Can I do an interview?" And people agree, and then I record it. But I like this because it's a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
You know, we're sitting down, we're chatting.
Right.
Yeah. You'd stopped and we chatted a little bit before you came to sit down just now.
Yeah.
I think I caught you before your run.
Yep. You did.
Do you want to do a wipe down?
My mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to show a real good
That's good. Yeah.
a good example, even though this table is long enough that maybe it isn't strictly necessary.
Right.
Yeah, we went with the 6 foot.
I really dislike having to wear the masks. I think that you gain so much more by being able to see people's faces,
Yeah.
but unfortunately. All right. We met before, just I don't know, 30 minutes or so ago.
Yeah.
My name is Anthony, and you said your name is Maria.
That's right.
Was there any particular topic that you were thinking of as you were running to talk about when you came back here? We can talk about anything.
Okay.
Ideally, it's something that you're pretty sure is true, to the point where you act out on it.
Okay. I believe that the world is created through imagination.
Mm. There's lots of people here on this planet. Is everyone walking around with a different version because they have different imaginations of what's actually happening or something else?
Yeah, they do. They have their own, everyone has their own way, the belief systems, thought patterns, what they believe to be real, and that what creates their reality.
How far are you willing to go with that? Like, can I manifest something? Maybe that's not the right verb, but can I create my own reality in something that you might think is impossible?
You could, I think so.
Hmm.
It may take time, may not come instantaneously, but yeah.
Can you think of an example? It would actually happen in this lifetime, almost certainly, or?
It's not certain, but I would say.
Do you have an example?
Example.
Yeah.
I would say anything that we see in our physical presence, buildings, roads, trains, cars, all of it started in imagination. And
How is imagination different than perception? Or is it the same?
it's similar to a degree. So you could have someone could have a different view on something than someone else, and it could create a different outcome. So it could be the same thing, but two different perspectives creates, if you get what I'm saying. And then imagination is a world that we live in and creates certain events afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking an example would really be helpful.
Okay.
Can you think of an example with maybe one of the objects that's on this table here
Hmm.
or something else? We have this box of candies. Um, it's funny how many different topics you can have just from this box of candies. But we don't have to pick that.
That sounds good. I like Tic Tacs.
Would you like one?
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks.
You might want to sanitize it or wipe it down.
Okay.
Can you think of an example where somebody can use their imagination with that box of candies?
Okay. It's kind of like, okay, imagine these Tic Tacs or candies were alive, and their reality only consisted within this box. And they thought, okay, this is my life. I'm in this box right now. But what they don't know, that there's a whole world outside of this box.
Mm.
They just lifted the lid.
Mm. So this does this hypothesis that you have only apply to living things? Living things that can have an imagination, maybe.
It could. So say these are ants.
Okay.
Maybe ants have an imagination, but they're living things. And I would say, what's something that's not a living thing? Well, everything is living and moving, but just made up of different stuff.
Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. So now I'm torn whether I should keep questioning you about the imagination thing compared to perception, or explore what makes something living. Where do you want to go? What would you like to talk about? Or something else completely. We don't have to.
No, that sounds good. Well, I would say, just to address this hypothesis, that we are bound by the thoughts that we give it. So just like these candies in the box or the ants in the box, we can just lift open the lid and have a whole new world, instead of thinking we're only confined to what we believe to be true.
Okay. So myself, I'm kind of like a logical person, or at least like to think that I am. And I'm envisioning a kid who maybe has some parents who is very restrictive and limiting that kid from doing stuff. And then maybe the kid gets older and then is able to sort of use their imagination and think outside the box. Kind of like, is that what you're talking about? Or
yeah, it could be for a kid, it could be an adult, doesn't matter what age. It's just what you're believed to be true, that will be what you get. When you expand your perception, then you can have so much more.
Okay. Could somebody believe something to be true that will never manifest itself in reality?
Probably.
Okay. So there are some limits to it? Maybe?
Maybe.
Okay. How does this belief, what kind of value does this belief give you? Does this perspective or this hypothesis give you? What are you getting out of it? Like,
It gives you expansion, unlimited possibilities, openness.
Okay. Can somebody who doesn't share your view attain those things?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you develop this view?
I developed this view, I would say, from an accumulation of life experiences, and from always getting to that silver lining. No matter what it is that happens, there is always, it always fixes itself, no matter what it is.
Do you have an example?
An example.
Like a real world example where you would look back and say, this is the perfect illustration for this thing that I'm trying to explain to this dude. Do you have anything like that?
Let's see. I would say, okay, for example, the pandemic that we're all experiencing right now, it forced us to isolate and change our way of living, and a lot of devastation has come from it.
Yeah.
And also there's been a silver lining for me personally and what it's allowed me to do and grow individually as a person, how I want to express myself to the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. You've seen some personal growth because of this terrible thing that's happened.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that relate to the imagination and perception side of things that we were talking about earlier?
I kept staying true to my imagination and what I want to create in my reality, and just kept moving forward.
What?
Yeah, steal your phone.
Sure. Excuse me.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Uh,
Yeah, just kept moving forward.
kept moving forward.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I want to do an experiment with that box of candies. You can just leave it there if you want. You can even have one if you want.
Okay.
Could I imagine that the total number of pieces in there is a certain number and make it true because I'm imagining it to be that?
Ooh, that's like magic, which I'm sure is possible. I just don't know specifically how to do David Blaine magic or anything like that.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering, if like that container probably doesn't hold more than 30 pieces, I'm thinking.
Right.
But if I imagined that there were 100 in there, would it make it factually true?
There's probably some sort of way to explain that, which I don't know how, but there probably is a way. God.
If a box of 30 pieces sells for $5, and I tell you to imagine that there's 1,000 in there and pay me, you can give me $600 for it, I guess. I would do it. Would you do it? Would you pay me that much for it?
Because you're telling me there's 1,000 pieces in there?
Yeah, if I just say, listen, all you need to do is imagine that there's 1,000 in there and not 30, would it make it? What would you do? I'm kind of curious how you would respond to something like that.
It depends on how valuable that is to me.
How do you define what's valuable to you? Like, what would have to happen in order for you to like shell over and give me $500 or $600 for it?
Right, these better be gold candies. These are like, okay.
If I just said no, there's like 1,000 regular Tic Tacs in there. They're not really special. They're the same kind of Tic Tacs. Like, I guess what I'm trying to test here is how far are you willing to go to let me imagine something that impacts you? Like, do you understand my question, or?
So your question is, you're telling me there's only 100 in here, but you're telling me there's 1,000, and how far am I willing to believe what you're telling me?
Because I'm imagining it to be the case.
I would say, do I believe there's 1,000 in there? And if I don't, then I wouldn't. But if I align with your beliefs, maybe.
Do you have the ability to use your imagination to tell yourself that there's 1,000 in there and pay me for 1,000 when there's only 30 in there?
If I get something out of it, if it gives me a feeling or something in return that is equivalent to, oh my God, there's 1,000 candies in there, then maybe I would.
Is that right? Okay. All right.
But for real though, I would not spend $600 on a candy. Got it. No.
For real. But what's so different? Like in reality, you're saying, it almost sounds like you're saying, in reality, there's no way I'm giving you that much money for what you're telling me is 1,000 pieces when I can count that there's 30 in there. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you extend? And I don't want to misrepresent what you're saying about imagination, but why wouldn't you allow yourself to accept my claim that there's 1,000 in there if you just simply imagine it to be the case?
Because I don't think I would want candy that much.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any questions for me? Do you want to know or anything like that?
Yeah, what are your beliefs?
Or something else?
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, what are your thoughts about imagination and
Ah,
creating your
yes, I didn't mean to dodge your question. I just needed clarity. I don't think that I can make, I might be able to convince myself, maybe. Honestly, I don't think I could because I'm looking at that container and there's no way that 1,000 pieces would fit in there. So I don't think I could imagine it to be the case. Like maybe there was some way of melting them, squishing them or something and getting
Right.
1,000 in there. I suppose that's possible,
Right,
but we're not talking about trickery or.
right.
So my position is I don't think you can imagine something to make it factually true.
Okay.
I think there's value in sort of envisioning what I want to be the case. Like I might want to lose 20 pounds.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that's more of the wavelength I'm thinking.
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. More like goal setting.
Goal setting and yeah, and following through on what you imagine,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can have what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is magic and all that is out there, but yeah.
Could I use magic to lose 20 pounds?
Maybe.
Awesome. Okay, that was beautiful. That was a great talk.
Yeah.
Anything more for me?
I think that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
That
for
was
your-
awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we're done here. And normally I'd shake your hand or something, but
Yeah.
in the days of COVID, um,
So how does this work? Like,
you have to sign anything really.
were you guys? Are you gonna put my name anywhere? Or can I see this on this channel?
There's a link to the live broadcast on YouTube. Is that right?
Yes.
What's the best way to get that to you?
Maria was above your picture.
And audience is suggesting a
Me too.
Ah, yes. I forgot about that.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna. Here is a poor man's pant.
Do you come to the trail a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. If you would like, you can have one of these 3 puzzle pieces as like a visual reminder of the talk.
Oh my
Would you
God.
like to take one? But I would recommend sanitizing it after you grab it.
Oh, red.
You read it? Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Fun.
The idea with the puzzle pieces is to give a visual reminder to think about it, and then maybe you come back and we can keep building off of this talk. You know, because sometimes like a short 5 or 10 minute talk, while it could be useful,
Go down many rabbit holes.
there's a lot of different rabbit holes we can go down. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
But I think if you search for his YouTube channel, which is called Juggling Lessons, you should see the broadcast there.
And we have a timer we can set.
It looks like we're getting ready for another.
So it's not mugs.
That's me. That's my channel.
That's not there.
And
He's
this is on my channel right now.
Oh,
And
since I'm visiting, this is all his setup. I'm just sitting down here.
juggling lessons like this.
Turn this on. Put these on so I can hear FK. Puzzle piece.
Thank you.
Bye, Maria. It's nice
Bye.
talking to you.
Very
Thanks.
nice to meet
Okay, bye. Do you want to sit down and do the next one? Kimberly, you want to give it a go?
Nope, I'm trying to work out a camera issue. He wants a wide shot.
I do.
Dolly, do you want to do the next interview?
Sure, I'm happy to.
Okay.
The YouTube channel is Juggling Lessons.
Okay.